I'm sorry. What I'm trying to say is, if you're going to delete a particular record, you just need to click from this one, and this one, or the action column, is the one that we created last night. So we have here the delete link. Once you click this, it will execute the scripts that we created last night. Again, to repeat briefly what I have just said, our topic for today is about editing and updating the database in order for us to complete the 4 major functionalities that we really need to learn about web development. Okay, so after this delete action, we will add another action from here. So I think that's edit, and then once we click the edit, that will this information will be placed here for editing purposes. Okay, actually it retrieves the information from the database, from our MySQL specifically. It retrieves those information going here or into our form. So this is actually an entry form, but we can also maximize this form for editing. Okay, so again, for you to be able to recall again our topics in the previous, or from the previous, I'll show you again the source codes. Okay, so okay, now as you can see from your window or from your screen, this is actually the, what is this, the new contact has been saved. This is for saving for the new contact. Okay, so last night we created this one, the delete contact. So we added this h1, or this header, delete contact, and then line break, and then this is behind the process, behind the scene process. So we connected to the database, yes, to the database through this line, and then once connected, we can already use that connection or database connection for us to be able to execute this particular SQL statement, or structured query statement command. Okay, or SQL command, or SQL or query statement. Okay. And then as you can see from here, this is a variable, meaning to say that it's dynamic. The same with the math concept. We sometimes read it n or x. So this time we let $id, because that's the way we declare variable or variables here in PHP. It should start with $sign. Otherwise, it will be treated as a reserved word. So that would be an error, because there is no id reserved word or command, built-in command in PHP. Like this one, the echo word, there is no $sign, meaning to say this is considered to be a reserved word or built-in command in PHP that is equivalent to print. Okay, if you want to print or echo any text or string, or with the HTML tags. Okay, so, and this one is just a message, a confirmation about the deletion. And $q, this is the variable that we used, meaning to say once it is being executed, it will be stored here, and you can just make a boolean condition that if it is true, or you can put here if $q equals true, or just simply actually if condition, or using the equal sign in if condition, it should be double equal. If $q double equal true or 1, meaning to say it deleted successfully, then you will post this message and then this anchor tag, in order that the user could return to the updated context list, meaning to say the one that you've deleted is already excluded. Okay, or just simply put if $q, that's understood that if it's true, or if it's done successfully, then this is begin and end these things inside the open and close curly braces, or the begin and end, this one, the begin and end, will be processed or executed. Okay. So actually, before it goes here, it starts from here. Okay. So these things that we have that I have shown you just earlier about the delete link. This is the delete link. Okay. So surrounded by the anchor tag. So this is the anchor tag. Okay. And we just applied the correct way of concatenation. This one, we concatenate the word delete underscore contact because that is the file name of our deletion process. Okay, so delete underscore contact.php, this one, then separated by or followed by question mark. So meaning to say that ends there with the with our file name to be redirected or pointed to. That is followed by the URL variable. So that is ID. We did not use dollar because that is a URL variable that will be used for get method. So that is not actually a PHP variable, but this one is a PHP variable. So it comes from here. So here $O. The same thing with the last name, the first name, and the contact number. But this one, the ID. We fetched the ID for us to be able to pass this value into this, and in a form of concatenation. Okay. And once it is being clicked, okay, so you could achieve here the delete underscore contact.php question mark ID equals the whatever the value. So this is dynamic. This is just like variable in math. Okay. And then once you click that, it will be redirected into this file or process, and then that's it. That's the whole delete functionality. Okay. So this time around, as I have said, we will add edit button or edit link. So to make it uniform, we started creating an anchor tag for our link. So we will just create another link from here. Okay. So how are we going to do that? I will just put some indentions, although it's not required in presenting it or in doing the HTML thing, but that is a good practice to have an indentation because you can easily identify the relationship between them. Okay, so from here I will just indent this one, and align TD is aligned with another TD, meaning to say this is the entire column. Okay, and I will just add another anchor tag here. I think it should be somewhere, it comes first, I think. So href is equal to, let's make it blank first by this time, and then /a, and then that's it. And in order to have just an emphasis between the two, the edit and delete, I think we could put some pipe here and then space. Okay, and then from here we could write the edit link. Okay, so that is the edit link. Although we put this anchor tag above and below or into the next line, that doesn't mean that it will look like that, because it will be ignored by the HTML for as long as you put another TR, or let's say for the next row, table row, or the BR for break or line break to move into the next line. Okay, anyway, let us check. We will save this now. Then after saving that, let's proceed to the browser. Okay, so we are now on our browser, and then let's try to refresh this. As you can see from here, we now have an edit link. So together with the delete, the one that we created last night. So we have edit, we have delete. So delete is already working, but edit is ongoing or on process right now. So as you can see from here, when we put the mouse over with the edit link below here on this part, you could see the localhost /test/lessons, because that's the path that or where our file name or our lessons being saved. View underscore contacts.php. So the same page here. Okay, so it will be redirected here, or we could use another PHP file to redirect the editing. But as I've said earlier, we will maximize the use of this form. Although we can copy this form and put it into another into another PHP file. But instead of that, to make it more user friendly, because if you are the end user of this application, if I click this, I am expecting that this information should be here, not to bring me into another page or into another PHP file. Okay, or in layman's term, into another page. Okay. So when we click this, our target is to have values from, or to fetch these values from here going to this objects or form fields. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Okay, let's go. Okay, so from here, let's use the same path, view contacts. So we are redirecting this edit functionality, we are redirecting into itself, because this is also where we are saving this file. PHP. So view underscore contacts.php, we are just redirecting it to itself, because this is view underscore contacts.php. So we are referring to the same file. And the only thing is that we could add a URL variable here. Let's say we will name this as job, okay, or whatever variable name, URL variable name. Okay, so let's just use the word job. Okay, job, and then or process equals let's say edit. Okay, so job equals edit, and then let's pass the value, so that is separated by the ampersand. Okay, so if you have another URL variable, you must put ampersand, otherwise it could not be recognized as another URL variable. So edit. So what's the next variable that we need? So we need to identify the process that we're going to do. So job equals edit, and ID equals, and then like this one. Okay, we'll just copy this to make it okay. So ID equals, and then we will remove the single quote here. Okay, because this ID represents a integer value, not a string value, but we still have here the single quote because we are closing the single quote from here. Okay, so the entire things inside the single quote are these things. So we just use double quote here and then double quote here to concatenate these things that we need to produce. Okay, so the output of that is view underscore contacts.php question mark job equals edit. So that is actually fixed, that is constant. Okay, and then dollar ampersand to separate. So by this time we now have job URL variable, this one, and the value of that is edit, and this one is ID. Actually, even if we put edit here, that doesn't mean that it's already editing. We can put there 1, 2, or whatever, but we still need to to do something in order to finally do the editing. Actually, at first, when we say edit, we're just getting the record or retrieving the record from our database to show it to our users or to display it in for so that the end user will be able to update or modify those existing information or previously entered or inputted information. So that's our purpose actually. And again, this ID is dynamic. It depends on the line or the row. In layman's term, that's line, but technically that we're referring to our row or a particular record. We're pointing it to that specific record. Okay. Now, so since we have this already, once it is redirected to itself to the view underscore contacts.php, we must get the value of these URL variables. Okay, but before that, I want to show you first. Let's save this and let's check first if we did this successfully, because sometimes if we are not if we did not do it correctly, the concatenation, it will not produce the actual value of our href or URL, or the expected outcome of our URL. Okay, so but I think so far we've created that correctly. Okay, so okay, let's check from our browser. Okay, let's move to our browser, and now we're here, and if we refresh this, it seems that nothing happens, but actually inside of it, when we put the mouse over with the edit, as you can observe from here, look at this carefully. If I put the mouse over here, edit, okay, as you can see from there, you have the localhost /forward/test/lessons/view underscore contacts.php, the one that we've indicated there in our edit link anchor tag, question mark job equals edit, and then ampersand id equals 2, because although this is the first line here, but the actual ID behind it, or in our MySQL, is 2. Okay, this is just for counter purposes, so that we will know if how many, and to make it more organized, and we will know on how many numbers of records do we currently have right now from our database. Okay, so that this is 2, the ID of this is 2, and this one is 5, but that's number 3. This one is 4. So we have 2. So that is an internal ID. We have 2, 4, and 5. But everything is edit. Everything's value for job is edit. Okay. So now, how are we going to use that those URL variables, the ID and the job and the ID? Okay. Let's get back to the source code again. Okay, so from here we are actually manipulating one file. Okay, so once it is redirected to itself, because when we click this edit button, it will be redirected to itself, we should have something, or we should do something from here before the HTML. Okay, and we need to have some PHP script, and we need to transfer this connection, although this RS will remain here because it is used from this part or into this part. So this one, because we need a connection to another thing that we are planning to do right now, I will cut this here and put this on at the top. Okay, I will put some indentions. Okay, then from here, so it seems that once this view contacts.php is loaded, it seems that the first thing that this script must do is to establish connection with our database. Okay, so that every time it needs to be used, for, let's say, editing or updating or deleting or whatever process, the database is always or is already available. Okay, or you're already connected with the database and that's already available. You can manipulate the tables, or in our case only one table by this time, the contacts table. You can already do any records or database manipulation. Okay, so we have now the connection. So that doesn't mean that editing is done. What we're going to test right now is to fetch the, let's assign a variable. So we don't have a value this time. So let's just name that as $job, although that's different from the URL variable job. And that's the one that we are getting, $get, because method, that's a URL variable, the method is get. And again, this is a built-in command in layman's term. So job, okay, because that is the URL variable that we've indicated from there. And then the second one is we want to get the ID, $ID, and then $get, and then let's get the ID value, whatever the value is. That in our case, as we checked a while ago, that's I think 245. Okay, our 1, 2, 3 records from our list. Okay, so now we can check this if we are getting, because this is a memory variable, so we are going to check this if we are getting correctly the values from each line or each row that we are planning to edit. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Let's say we will echo first, or sometimes you can use print, although they have a slight difference, but this also is similar with the echo. So print, let's say, okay, let's concatenate. Actually, you can do this way: $job and then single space, concatenate the single space, and then concatenate the value of the ID, something like that. But or since we have not used any single quote like this one, you can just do it this way, like this one. Then single space and then that one. Okay, you should have this, otherwise it will give you other results or something like that. And I can just use or put some BR here to see to it that it's on the top, and everything or the succeeding will be on the next line because of this line break. Okay, so let's save this one. Okay, and then let's go back to our page, our browser, and then once we refresh this, okay, see, this is blank here because we echo the job and the ID, but there is no value yet, but there's a single space there. Actually, we will remove that later because this is just for testing purposes, for us to be able to know if we could really get the value from our URL variables. Okay, so that's why when we refresh it, something was displayed here, but it's just a blank space. Okay, so when we click this, let's say Maria Clara, and when we click this one, we click the edit, as you can see from there again, the link, so it will be redirected to itself, to this file, viewcontacts.php. But by this time, as you can see from here, we have the edit value of the job and the number 2 value of the ID. Okay, the same thing if I click the Tony Regondola contact person here on the second line, and his number, that's my number actually. So edit 4, so that's not 2 because again this is just a counter. This is the actual ID behind it, or from our database. By the way, let's open the PHP My Admin to access the database. Okay, so we use the test database and the contacts table under the database. See, so from here we have the 2, 4, and 5. So for Tony Regondola, that's 4. For Maria Clara, that's 2. For Juan de la Cruz, that's 5. And these are the contact numbers, the first name and the last name, and the ID. Okay, so going back here, when I click this 5 Juan de la Cruz, you have here. So we're not fetching yet the values from here, but we're just getting the URL variables because this is our key, our way on how to retrieve these values. Okay, going back to our source codes. Okay, let's check our source code. So from here, so we are getting this correctly. Okay, so from here we are going to actually you could indicate here job, that is a fixed string value, and then let's say let's put some like this one, and then let's put here ID to see to it that is the job and that is the ID, or for you to be able to easily know for your debugging purposes if what value is that, or what variable name did you use, or what is that for. Okay, so if I refresh this, let's go back to the page first for a while for a very quick okay, so look at this. If I refresh this, so job equals edit, or the value is edit, and this is just for caption purposes.